When Nietzsche said that God was dead, he clearly didn't know much about the Japanese context, because here, God is actually a continuous verb. Yes, today's Japanese slang term is kamiteru, or godding, which is a verb you can use when someone is just doing a really good job or something is really great. So if you spend any time on the Japanese internet, you've probably seen kami used as kind of like a superlative prefix that says that whatever you're talking about is the best it can possibly be. For instance, kamikai is a well-known Japanese term used to refer to what people think is like the best episode of a show. So for instance, in this tweet, you can see somebody using the term to say that Doraemon episodes that have the character of Shizuka-chan in them are the best ones. And, here's another simple example. This is not the only term though. For instance, a kamikyoku is just an excellent song, and there are plenty of other words, as you can see from the various images flashing over my face right now, where kami is before a noun to mean the best or just a really excellent type of that noun. Usually these terms are fairly easy to understand, and basically can be seen as an equivalent of the English term goated. The song is goated, the song is godded, it's kamiteru. So kamiteru, which is often spelled without the e there, because in their all-knowing wisdom, God is a descriptivist, not a prescriptivist. So when someone says that, ramen is kamiteru, it just means the ramen is excellent. And if the idol you like is kamiteru, well then that's also a good thing. Now, generally speaking, people say that the etymology of this term actually comes from kamigakateru, which is like to be possessed by a god. And this kamigakateru is still used just as a general compliment as well. It doesn't have to be for people. Although to me, it just seems more like it would have naturally come from that kami prefix we saw earlier being kind of verb. I suppose it's never going to be solved, and we can't prove really which one came first, but in either way, they definitely, work together and they have the same meaning. They all come from the same concept. What there's no question of, though, is that this kamiteru verb became something that was really well known in Japanese, especially outside of the Japanese internet, in 2016. I mean, look at that. So what caused this miracle? Well, baseball. Basically, in mid-June of 2016, Seiya Suzuki, who at that time played for the Hiroshima Carp, but now actually plays in America for the Chicago Cubs, hit 2 walk-off home runs in a row, which I don't know anything about baseball, so I had to look up what that means, but basically that he ended the entire game with a home run twice in a row. So in 2 different games. This is obviously a very impressive feat, and as a result, the manager of the Carp at the time, Koichi Ogata, referred to this performance as kamiteru. Now I can't find a video of this, but it was reported in various news media, etc., and you can still find videos that are more recent referring to this term that have him in it. But importantly, he didn't invent this term, nor did he claim to. Rather, the quote that is associated with him is, to phrase it in the words that young people are using right now, it is kamiteru. And this is what brought the word to the spotlight. But for those of you who are eagle-eyed, whose vision is kamiteru, we should say, you might have noticed that other chart I showed has a spike in December, not in June. So what's going on there? Well, while this word was popular, its explosion was when it was chosen by UCAN, who released the most influential top 10 new words list of the year list in Japan, as the word of the year in 2016. Indeed, it even beat out PPAP, that was also in 2016, showing you exactly how popular and how influential this statement was. Now, obviously, by saying that he's speaking in modern terms, he recognizes that this term is older, and I can find uses on Twitter in 2008, and uses on Google that go back to at least 2005, but I imagine it's much earlier than that. Still, 2016 is when it hit the big time, and now, of course, still sees use today as a superlative compliment for people that you find to be superlative. That said, this verb itself is not really kamiteru in my opinion, because it can't really be conjugated very much outside of the teiru form. You can find kamitenai, but it's pretty rare. Like the example I'm showing now is one of very few I found, and while you can get more hits if you do it in the proper inai form, most of these are not actual hits because they are either rhetorical, as in kamitenai, as in, isn't it really good? Isn't it godding? Or it is a false positive in the data because it's actually kamite inai, or there is no god, which people are stating when they're really upset about something. However, there is a little bit of kamiranai, which you can use when something does not kamiru. So here's a straightforward tweet where somebody responds to the evaluation of a anime as yabai, naku, and kamiteru by saying that it's yabakunai, nakanai, and kamiranai, not kamitenai. And here's another example for good measure. If you do not think something is very good, kamiranai is a way to criticize that as, not being godly. So in theory, I guess, if you are surrounded by really, really awesome stuff, you could say you are kamirarateru. Wait, no one's doing that? Oh, well, that just makes me sad.